Yes, people, Ads here from GND Media. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And thank you for supporting the show. If you could give this video a like and a share, I really would appreciate it. One day, guys, one day of happiness we got. Hannah Spencer did amazing in Gorton and Denton up here in Manchester. She absolutely smashed Matt Goodwin. She gave a black eye to the King Toad, Nigel Farage. She slowed down the poison that is spreading throughout the country, that is reform. And even though my analysis was more about we just need to stop reform, it wasn't really about who Hannah Spencer is. I do look forward to finding out, and let's hope, I can have a chat with her in the future. I'd love that. I'd love to amplify her and the Green Party. And, like I say, for 24 hours, life looked good. It was sunny here in Manchester for a little bit. And then the orange baboon across the pond, the monster in Israel, decided that no, there's not enough war in the world. There's not enough hatred in the world. And they start bombing the Middle East, specifically Iran. And, this is an environmental show, guys. We're an environmental media organization, so we have a duty to highlight climate change, climate breakdown, and make connections with world events. But before I start, I do honestly want to put it out there. I'm not going to diminish war in any way. I'm not going to diminish people that are being killed, people that don't necessarily understand the crisis, the climate crisis that we're in, may feel like, how is this really a time to talk about the environment when, people are dying? First acts of war, a school got bombed, 150 kids, there or thereabouts, were killed. I completely get that, guys. But like I say, we also have an obligation to connect things in the world to the climate crisis, which, if you knew how bad things were, you would understand that the climate crisis is bigger than any war. It's bigger than any hotspot in the world. It's bigger than anything, guys. It really is. And what I want to do in today's video, I want to highlight something that's often not spoken about, and that is the Paris Peace Accords, climate accords, not peace accords, sorry, climate accords. They were supposed to. So in a good world, we don't have wars, okay? In a rational world, the idea is that the data that was brought together in order to bring the climate crisis to us, to make us aware of how bad things are, it shows a projection of carbon emissions that are not good. And obviously in the last video, please go and check it out if you didn't. There's a very famous, picture about the temperature of the Earth since the Industrial Revolution and how hot it is now. And in a rational world, or what was agreed to at the time, was any anomalies outside of the data, and that could be volcanoes, massive volcanoes, but also things like war. War is a massive carbon projector. The military-industrial complex is one of the biggest polluters in the world. It's bigger than most countries. And if there is war in a rational world, you're supposed to take that new data, those anomalies that we couldn't factor in at the time, recalculate and recalibrate the data in order for countries to then do even more to reduce their own carbon emissions so that we can stay below the farcical 1.5, which was farcical at the time, but I think the leaders believed it was so far in the future that either they wouldn't be alive or technology would come step in and save them. But it's come a lot faster than expected. We broke that threshold a few times last year. We're looking at 2 degrees mid-century now, which is beyond horrific. If you know about these things, guys, 2 degrees, beyond horrific. And so, yes, like I say, GND Media, we have an obligation to make these connections. It's not to diminish any deaths. It's not to diminish war. My heart goes out to all these people, and the sooner that ends, the better. But again, we do have to make the connections that war is also a massive emitter. And again, the climate crisis is so horrific that it makes any particular war look like a scrap in the playground in comparison to what could be heading our way with climate breakdown. So I just wanted to play a short video. I'm only doing short videos now, guys, so just to keep you interested and so that you watch the whole video. I'm quite aware that people's time is very precious, so thanks again for tuning in. It's just a short video from a climate scientist that I know and admire greatly. He's called Kevin Anderson. He works at Manchester University. We've had him on the show 2, 3, maybe 4 times. Fantastic. Pulls no punches. Sugarcoats nothing. Knows his shit. Science, data. The guy's got it. He says it as it is. And I really just want, again, to focus the minds on what we're looking at with the massive increase in temperature that war can bring. So I'll just play you this video. It's only a short one, guys. Please bear with it.
If we then look at the end of this and say, this is really where we began to burn fossil fuels, in about 1850-ish. And we were about 280 parts per million by volume at that particular time. And if we look at that where we are today, we're now at 424 parts per million, almost overnight. We've gone to these ridiculously high levels, and it's rising rapidly every single year. The way the science is going at the moment, we're going to see a rise of about 2 degrees centigrade or so by the middle of this century. That's very hard to imagine that we'll be any less than that. But there's now a small but very real risk that we could hit 4 degrees centigrade by the end of this century. Now, the prospects of 3 and 4 degrees centigrade of warming are absolutely dire. I mean, we cannot risk that at all. It is an extreme and unstable climate, far beyond any safe zone that has nurtured our civilization. And we're going to be seeing unprecedented societal and ecological collapse at these sorts of levels. We can see escalating geopolitical instability and rising military tensions. And there will be no real economy to talk about. There's no reduction in GDP. We'll be looking at systemic collapse.
Okay, guys, systemic collapse at 4 degrees. But I mean, listen, between 2 and 4, anywhere between 2 and 4, you're looking at systemic collapse. So we're now at the age where they're relying on AI, they're relying on technology, carbon capture technology, to get us out of this shit. But I just wanted to highlight the connections between world events, horrific world events in their own rights, but just how they connect to an even bigger horror, which is the climate crisis. So guys, some hope there. Hannah Spencer's give us all a little bit of hope, all joking aside. Let's see if we can turn the tide in England, in the UK, and try and get a party that actually has the environment hardwired into it to really try and fight for Mother Nature and for the planet, as well as all the other things that are important for a functioning society where we all thrive. So guys, thanks for watching, and I will take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.